Hi guys. Sorry it took this long to make this video. Quite busy with the holiday last week. Anyway, I'll probably be splitting this entire guide for 40 cap into 3 or 4 parts. Let's see where it takes me. Basically, for this video though, we'll be focusing more on skill builds, skill rotations, as well as skill explanations. I'll be giving you guys my thought process on why I took specific skills, why I didn't take a few skills that I used to recommend back then. Um, until intern Chan, the head Discord moderator or the community manager in Discord, confirmed a few things that we'll be talking about later in the video. So, just to give you guys an idea, this is the current build of the Bowmaster right now. Currently at 443 to 4 with the crit at town 78. So 78 plus 12%, you'll hit the crit cap of 90% easily. Anyway, so with every build of Bowmaster, obviously, you'll want to max out Twin Shot. Twin Shot is your bread and butter. It's your main filler when everything else is on cooldown. If you are an avid Bowmaster player, you know how long some of your cooldowns are, especially if you are playing the physical build, which is this guide basically. I'll be creating another character in the future. She is still currently level 32. I'll be making Bowmaster wherein the build is focusing on magic. I've been watching this female streamer, I forgot her name, but she is a Bowmaster who focuses on magic attack, and I've been really enjoying watching her gameplay. I've never really tried Bowmaster using the magic type, rather focusing on the magic type pre level 50. I've always just played artillery uh, once it was released a few years back. With that being said, let's continue with the skill build. Of course, back in 32 cap, I used to suggest getting piercing shot, and there are still some players who prefer piercing shot, especially during Manticore or Apocalypse boss nests, where if you're uncomfortable with the attack pattern of the boss, it'll be a lot easier to kill them if you just play safer in the back. Right now, though, for my build, we will be going for multi-shot. Multi-shot requires you to be mid-range rather than long-range compared to piercing shot. But multi-shot, as the name says, it's a multiple hitting skill. And the main philosophy with Bowmasters in the physical build is that the more hit a skill does, the more chances each individual hit crits, therefore netting you a lot more damage compared to the magical skills of the magical skill tree of Bowmaster. Obviously, we'll be maxing out our tumble and urgency trick. Some people like to take Mooncake. I used to take it back in 32 cap, even Pinwheel, but it's just that this client, which is the Chinese client of the N Classic, we're just we don't have enough skill points. So I like to sacrifice Mooncake and Pinwheel. You can adjust the skill build to fit your own gameplay, of course. We take Rage of Owl and we max it for 12%. Once you have this maxed out, it means that you'll only need 78% critical chance in town in order to hit the 90% cap. So once you have 78% in town, you add 12% of that with Rage of Owl once you're in the dungeon or outside. So 78 plus 12 nets you 90%. So 90% is the crit cap. you obviously max at aerial evasion, and then we get physical mastery. We only get level 2 for now. I'll, I'll explain why we'll be getting 47 in the archer skill tree. But for now, since a lot of people are used to only taking 45, we'll stick with that for now. I'll be adding it later on and also explaining why. Obviously, since we are now a physical build, back in 32 cap, I wasn't really suggesting that people take charge shot. Even at level 6, it just was not dealing enough damage to out damage a scope arrow. Yes, even in physical build, a level 6 charge shot was just not consistent enough to out damage a scope arrow even though we are physical build. Because again, following the philosophy that I explained earlier, scope arrow deals multiple hits of damage instances, and if all of those instant crits, you'll out DPS the charge shot. For now though, charge shot is a lot stronger. It's still not as strong as I would like it to be. I really do wish that either they buff it or they allow us to use the skill rings that we had back in DNC a few years back. Because as you can see, at level 10, it increases the bonus damage by 50%. So from 1.5, it becomes 3.2. So essentially 50%, right? Obviously, we'll be maxing out Aerial Chain Shot. Aerial Chain Shot allows us to dodge some mechanics of Manticore and Apok. Um, I believe it has a very small amount of iframe, maybe a fraction of a second or something like that. Not as long as Swift Shot and Triangle Shot, obviously. Uh, yeah, we'll be talking about Triangle Shot a lot later on, by the way, because it is our main iframe skill. Siege Stance and Arrow Shower, Brain Dead Explanation, of course. You're a physical build. Arrow Shower and Siege Stance deals multiple instances of damage, more chances of it critting, more DPS, basically. Obviously, we'll max out Bullseye, Spiritual Exile, and Sylph's Aid. Bullseye, if you guys did not read the description yet, it basically debuffs enemies and allows not only you but your entire party member to deal bonus physical and magic damage by it by 15% for 60 seconds. So since it's a flat amount, it's really good because 15% of what, let's say 100k is almost, yeah, an extra 15 basically. So instead of dealing 100k, your teammates will be doing 115. That'll just make you guys clear the bosses much faster. Very helpful, especially for Apok Hell, where the boss is just so erratic that it'll kill everyone, and then it has like a one-hit mechanic at the end anyway. Now, obviously, we take Fake Shot and Triangle Shot. Triangle Shot is an insanely good skill for Bowmasters. The skill ceiling for Bowmasters is extremely high because not only do you have to memorize the attack patterns of the bosses, but you need to maximize your usage of Triangle Shot in order to avoid those mechanics. So in the future videos that I'll be doing, I'll show you guys how to use Triangle Shot to avoid not only the poison mechanic and Manticore Siren portion, the laser of Apok Hell, just a lot of stuff. Basically, Triangle Shot has like 1.3 seconds worth of iframe. If we play the video, oh, okay, what's happening? There we go. So the entire time that you are on air, basically, as soon as the pink dust appears on the body of your character and she tumbles in the air, that entire duration is an iframe. So most of the time when you're trying to dodge Manticore as he's going down, what you'll do is you can only cast Triangle Shot if you're really good with the timing. But most of the time, I recommend people to Triangle Shot and then Aerial Chain Shot to maximize the iframe of both of the skills in order for you to properly dodge the dive mechanic of Manticore. We obviously take Longbow Mastery. We use Longbow for Bowmaster. Unless you're a magical Bowmaster, then you go for Crossbow Mastery. Crossbow mastery, crossbow in itself gives bonus magical damage, so magical BMs take it. For us though, since we're physical, we take longbow mastery. Um, I have seen people who are magical bowmasters also lean forward longbow just because of the bonus crit. If you're watching this and you're interested in magical bowmasters, I would still recommend going for crossbow because we have so much critical chances anyway that it doesn't really matter. Archer's base stat is Agi. Agi grants us bonus critical chance. Therefore, you don't really need the bonus longbow, the bonus critical chance of longbow itself. Because if you guys did not know, I'll be showing it later. Longbows, just like crystal balls of sorceress, has bonus critical chance. Now, with our remaining five, we obviously have to learn the ultimate, and yeah, that finishes our skill build for the bowmaster portion. Obviously, we still have two bonus, not bonus rather, skill points remaining. That is where we go back to archer, and your decision here can vary. I would recommend obviously maxing out physical mastery. Bonus HP means bonus survivability. As long as you're alive, you're dealing DPS. Basically, that is the main portion of that is the main philosophy when you're dealing DPS, right? As long as you're alive, you're doing damage, you're going to kill the boss. I like taking mental mastery because the bonus max MP helps out the spammy nature of bowmasters. I have been using this also sometimes when I'm having trouble, especially during Apokel, when I know the run will take more than 20 minutes. I like going for Mind Conquer instead of getting the physical mastery to level 3. Just because I'm playing a lot more safe anyway, means I'm getting hit less, therefore I don't really need the bonus HP. I'd rather go for Mind Conquer because it helps my mana regeneration become faster. No, it helps my mana regeneration be a lot more stable. Therefore, it helps me spam my skills easier. Now let's talk about some variations of the builds that I have been suggesting to my friends who are new to Bowmasters. One of the main complaints that I've been hearing about newbies of Bowmasters is that Bowmasters feel like as soon as you use Aerial Chain Shot, Siege Stance, and Arrow Shower, it basically feels like you're just playing an archer normal attacking. And that is true, you know, that's like one of the main problems with Bowmasters. Is that once all of your three skills are used, you're basically stuck using your filler skills, which is Twin Shot, Multi Shot, and your normal hit. And Bullseye too. Kasi you can recast this even though the uptime is still there just for bonus damage. When people are not enjoying things like that, I like to recommend them to go for Scope Arrow and Swift Shot. No, wait. Let's talk about just Scope Arrow. Obviously, since you're a physical build, you'll not be dealing damage. Your Scope Arrow will not be dealing as much damage as you want it to be. But because of how low the cooldown is, means that you'll have an extra pair of skill that you can use. You'll be losing some DPS, of course, but again, if you're not enjoying the game because you don't have a lot of skills, then it doesn't really matter. If you're not enjoying the game, you're not gonna play it anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? Let's focus on making sure that you enjoy the game. Another thing that I have been recommending for beginners is dropping Charge Shot to level 3 and getting Swift Shot. Swift Shot has, again, iframe not as long as Triangle Shot, but also not as short as Aerial Chain Shot. Swift Shot, you can use this if you time it correctly to, again, dodge the Manticore Nest dive mechanic. It's not really useful when you're dodging the laser of Apok Hell or just Apok Normal in general, but the laser attack of the final boss, not very useful. The iframe is too short for you to dodge it. Still recommend going for Triangle Shot when you're trying to dodge the laser. but this allows newbies to become a lot more comfortable and allows you to properly learn the attack patterns of the boss first. Another one is dropping charge shot to 0 and putting it a bit into piercing shot. Do not recommend it. Someone suggested it. I would not recommend it. Just stick to charge shot level 3. So with the build variations covered, obviously I'll still be going with the skill build that I enjoy, which is this one: max charge shot, max aerial chain shot, siege, arrow shower, arrow barrage. Obviously you'll be maxing out your bullseye, spiritual excel, and silph's aid. You'll be maxing out multi-shot instead of piercing shot, and I won't be getting mind conquer. I'll just be sticking with mental mastery, but I know that a lot of people would probably copy my build, so I'll just go with this one. The MP regeneration really helps, basically. So just apply that. There we go. Now let's head over to the training grounds to talk about the skill rotations, skill explanations, and stuff like that. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so we're back. I just fixed my skills, adjusted them in my hotkeys as well. Okay, so here is the current stats of this character. Again, very well built already. Crit cap is at 78, so let's do the buff. Let's see, 90%. So we have hit the critical cap successfully already. Okay. So Bullseye is the skill that applies a debuff, like I said a while ago. Its visual cue is, it essentially adds this like red marks on your enemies. That's how you know visually, without looking at the portion beneath the HP bar of the boss, that Bullseye was correctly placed. It's 100% chance, by the way. It can't miss as long as you aim it properly. There you go. Now, the main skill rotation of Bowmaster relies on properly using all of your main damage skills during the entire uptime of Silph's Aid. So let's read the description. Basically, Silph's Aid increases not only your action and your movement speed by 30%, it increases your attack power, both physical and magical, by 12.5%, while also reducing the damage you take by 15. The description can sometimes be a bit confusing because we're not using official translated notes. We're just following like old translations back then. With that being said, that is the main reason why we do not take Wise of the Owl. The description of Wise of the Owl says that for 12 seconds it increases not only your own critical rate by 50%, but it also increases your party members by 50%. It has been confirmed by Intern Chan that this description is wrong. Not sure if they'll change it in the future, not sure if they will change the skill itself to fit the description, but for now, Wise of the Owl only increases your own critical rate by 50%. So why is that a bad thing? Why don't we take Wise of the Owl, right? Archer's base stats are Agile. Now, if we look at Agile, so agility increases your critical resistance and your physical attack increases. But it also increases the critical damage. Now, it doesn't say it directly. It only says that it increases your critical damage, but Agile in itself increases your critical chance as well. I don't know why it doesn't say it in the description, but since Archer's main stat is Agile, you'll be building Agile, means that your critical chance will naturally be higher than other classes. Therefore, you don't really need Wise of the Owl, right? Because even if you look at this character, Um, one of our two parts aren't even wind. Therefore, we have far less agility than other classes who has wind suffixes rather, and we can still hit the critical cap with just one buff. Let's start off with siege stats. Okay, so as you can see, siege stance only hit for 5 times, right? Again, I was spamming my left click. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me just. So as you can hear, I'm spamming my left click very vigorously. But let's try it with Sylph's Aid. Let's see the difference. I did it a bit wrong because I zoomed in so that you guys can see. Let's try it again. But just by then, you saw that we dealt another bonus instance. So when properly used, your siege stance will deal 2 extra damage. This is why it's important to use siege stance alongside Sylph's Aid as much as possible. Aerial chain shot hits for 20 to 25. With Sylph's Aid, it doesn't really increase the hit counts. See, still 25. So for Sylph's Aid, I would highly suggest to only use it with Siege Stance and Arrow Shower because the bonus action speed actually allows you to hit more. There we go. As you can see, that was 7 total hits. Then let's compare it again with no Sylph's Aid. Maximum of 5. So let's compare Arrow Shower now. You need to lower your mouse view by just a little because there are some arrows that hit further and more upwards. I don't know the proper term, but like it hits over the shoulder and passes through the mobs. So I would recommend to just lower your mouse view a bit, just like this. So without Sylph's Aid, usually it hits for 86, 80 to 90 sometimes. But let's compare it with Sylph's Buff. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why there's like an extra few arrows when you're using Arrow Shower with Sylph's Aid. Again, I don't really know why. But yeah, that's how you maximize the damage of both Siege Stance and Arrow Shower, just by making sure that you juggle them correctly with Sylph's Aid. So your entire attack rotation would really depend on what cooldown is available. But at the start of the boss, what I like to do is Bullseye, of course, Twin Shot, and then I go to Sylph's Aid and Siege Stance first. And then if they come close, I use multi-shot. Or if they're a bit too close to me after I use multi-shot, I use fake shot just to reposition. Fake shot is extremely important during Manticore nest runs because, so let's say he casts the Gravity Ascension skill on this side, for example. Usually it's 2 sides, right? 2 or 3. One on its back usually. So for example, I'm doing my DPS here. Manticore raises its hind legs, indicating that it is about to use the Gravity Ascension skill. What I like to do is not only do I dodge, but I also reposition my mouse to make sure that my fake shot lands me on a safer place. Fake shot has a bit of delay. No, rather, fake shot can be delayed a bit. So usually what people do is they spam it quickly, but what they don't know is that you can have a bit more time with your reaction just to make sure that it's safe by delaying it. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'll try to like put a comparison. So this is what people usually do, but this is what I do. Just allows me to make decisions a lot. It gives me like more time to decide basically. So again, this is spam. Then this is me delaying it. And also, why is delaying it important? Let's say again, let's go back to the comparison of the gravity ascension. For example, I reacted too fast. It raises its hind legs, and then I dodged quickly. But now I'm not sure where the gravity ascensions will land, right? So let's say I dodge here, but Manticore summons it here. If I delay it, it means that I have a chance to land on a safer portion of the gravity ascension. So I'm standing here. He casts it there, but I react too quickly and I dodge there. I can delay, since I can delay my fake shot, I can easily still dodge it and survive. The skill rotations of Bowmasters again will vary with what your skill uptime is, but you just have to make sure that when you are using Siege Stance or Arrow Shower, that you use it to Siv's Aid. Now, you might be wondering, well, the cooldown of Siv's Aid, Siege Stance, and Arrow Shower are too near, so what do I prioritize? Do I prioritize Siv's Aid with Arrow Shower or Siege Stance? That will depend on the circumstance of how the boss is acting. Basically, I don't know if you guys noticed, for some reason, the attack patterns can vary from nest runs to nest runs. And we fought like, I'll show like a clip here. But basically, we had like a run where one of the Minotaurs in Manticore was not standing up. So it doesn't really matter if I use Siege Stance or Arrow Shower because it bugged out. Let's just say that you have a Paladin in your Apoc run. So again, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you're in a safer distance. But for example, the Apoc boss used its laser. So the laser is coming from this way, so I'm turning this way. But since you want to maximize your DPS as a Bowmaster, what you do is, so while the laser is coming near you, you dodge and then you use a triangle shot. The iframe from triangle shot will make sure that you don't get hit. But as soon as you land, since the laser already came through this, it won't go back here. So as soon as you land, you can maximize your DPS. So go back to Siege Stance, and then you can even adjust your position and just so that you can use Arrow Shower. This won't make a lot of sense, obviously, since this is an Apoc boss. There's no real visual cues that we're following. I'm just explaining this to you. Hopefully, in the next few videos, I can show you guys some of the tips that I've seen here actually done during the Manti and Apoc runs. Another thing is just make sure that when you are using your ultimate, make sure that the enemy is under the bullseye effect, just because the damage really does make a huge difference when you're hitting a boss with bullseye and with no bullseye. So let's compare the ultimate without bullseye. Around 15. Let's compare it with bullseye. Almost 100% increase, obviously, since I'm level 40 and this mob is level 50. His critical resistance is a lot higher than my critical chance. So that's why it didn't increase for too much. But again, since you're a DPS, you want to maximize your DPS as well. With that ends this first part of my Bowmaster guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, here's a quick look of the skill build. Make sure to take Longbow Mastery and Arrow Barrage. I hope you guys enjoyed. feel free to leave a comment if you have any other questions, or you can go to my Bowmaster thread in the official Discord class, in the official Dragoness Discord channel. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them there. I'm pretty active to replying. I just wasn't as active as last week because there was a holiday and it's my final exam. So yeah, that took like a lot of my time. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.